Shirley here with Jupitalis, and I'm filling in the missing parts in the algorithm. And this is Jupiter hour, Venus day, midheaven 7 degrees Libra, ascendant 22 degrees. Jupiter ruled Sagittarius with Jupiter 4 degrees Cancer in the 8th house and the moon in the 9th house, and 5 degrees Leo. I want to talk about Rahu, or the North Node, coming to a partner's 10th house. So Rahu 10th house, it can be a synastry, okay, a conjoined chart where you put your natal chart juxtaposed to another natal chart, um, or it can be a composite, which means the conjoined two. Okay, what do they when two become one? And the synastry can be with another person, it can be with a country, it can be with an organization. And the reason I focus on the 10th house is because I saw that that was missing, and I'm tending to what is missing. Okay, so recording. So Rahu in the 10th house. Rahu is where we haven't been yet, and we are eager to go but don't know how. Rahu is the way we incarnate into this world in many ways, because if the tail of the dragon is where we come from, where what we're letting go, but also our comfort zone, Rahu is where we're going, and you want to think about it as a new country, okay, a faraway land we haven't been yet. And then people tell you it's the promised land. People tell you there's a gold rush. And it's risky to go there, but you kind of feel the calling to go there. And you begin to do your back and forth, and sometimes you flip back, and there's a question of what should you take with you into that unknown territory, uncharted territory, and what needs to be left behind. Okay, our life trajectory is more than the tail or the head of the dragon. Okay, not only because it has wings as well, it's an entire axis, but also because it's not about completely forgetting where we came from, but also not letting what we know disturb us from learning something new. Rahu in the 10th is one of those very prominent places, whether it's in your natal chart or coming up in a synastry. I'll treat it as synastry, and it will help you understand the natal chart as well. So the 10th house is 10th house is where you are a boss, basically. Okay, it's also your paternal figure, or if you go with single parent, then okay, your parent. If you are single parent, it is also where you are a parent together with the fourth. Usually where you are the father of, but again, or a lady boss, okay? And this is your public reputation, but also a part of the environment of your career. Sometimes you have the midheaven in the 10th, not always. If it is with the midheaven, it is already touching on legacy from a deeper level, but the 10th house is one of those legacy houses. It's just, okay? And Rahu is the eagerness to explore the 10th. If you have, and now normally you would run into such a synastry either in a 10th house perfection year, or there's something crossing your 10th, or a big outer planet crossing your 10th, or there are eclipses going through your 10th house, particularly with Rahu. And so that can draw in people and places and circumstances that play a bigger emphasis on the 10th house. It's definitely going to, if you are the house person and somebody comes with their Rahu into your tent, they are bringing in passion, perhaps even determination. And the thing is that if you are the 10th house, you want to think about it as somebody comes in, they still don't know how to do what you do, but they already come to innovate. It's the combination. It's not a Saturnian place where they are learning to be like you, but rather they innovate on what you do, but they still don't understand sometimes, first of all, that they are innovating, and they still not necessarily understanding that they come to that not necessarily they come to do what you do, or they don't necessarily understand. Let's say you're a boss and you have an employee, okay? They may come here not as an employee. They may be the mailman. They may be the person that cleans the place, or they may be I don't know, looking at something and accidentally stumbling upon, and they find themselves fascinating with that place. And they begin to ask questions, and they begin to ponder, and they begin to research, and then they have an opinion, and so on and so forth. And they're not necessarily even understanding that they are fulfilling their Rahu. Okay, if you are going through your 40s, beginning 40s is Rahu maturation. And this is also a time where you might stumble upon, okay, where you're heading in life, depending on where your Rahu is. Now, for that person, you have to keep in mind, if you're the 10th house person, the Rahu person might not have Rahu in the 10th house. Sometimes they do, but sometimes, let's say they have Rahu in the 4th house. So they wonder, I'm looking for a house, I'm looking for a house, I'm looking for a house. I need to move in here, move in there. I'm not sure. Okay, let's take a look at the real estate market. Okay, let's take a look at this. Let's take a look. But the house they should be like this, it should be like that. And that happens to affect your career. Okay, because let's say you're a real estate agent or you're a broker, okay? And for them, they're just looking for a house. There's like, oh, what's bothering me with the buy a house? Well, I actually want the house to be like this, or to be like this, or I always dreamed of a house, or I'm not even sure I want a house. Okay, and your 10th house, maybe you're a real estate broker, or you are, or your career has to do with I don't know, destruction of cities, now laser projects and so on, and and there comes this person. They were just looking for a house, and they turn over, and all of their passion, whatever comes to them, whatever they're passionate about, is your career. And what the questions, the concerns, the frustrations, that all of that they bring to the table, and eagerly bringing that to the table, is expanding your horizon in a way that you can do 10 times your tent with that person in your life. Now, it might be frustrating because they've never been there before. They're eager to go there. You've been there. Or for some of you, it is a new place. That for both of you, let's say it's your 10th house perfection, you got a new job, or you got promoted, okay? And then there's a person that, let's say, is looking for, they want to start a business. It's like, why is all the taxation so hard on this? Why? I want to buy something for my business. I wanted to buy a talisman, okay? I had to call the credit card company to reactivate the card that already I took outside of the bank, because I wanted to simplify things. And I was like, you know what? I will order that when there is a solution to that. And let's say, I don't know, you work in a municipality or work in a big organization, and you say, oh my God, people want to have business, they want to have trade, they want to participate in economy, but they need taxation simplified. Is exactly what I've been thinking. Okay, and now it's like, oh, that also affects that, and that also affects that, that also affects that. So Depending on how that Rahu is aspected, this can be either two people or a person and an organization, or if it is your natal chart and you come into your 40s, it can be exponential growth to uncharted territories. If you have, let's say, Saturn in the 10th house and you're the house person, Rahu might annoy you a bit because Rahu's never been there, and they're the new person in the house that pays attention to everything. Okay, think about it. You come to a new house and you've never been there before. Immediately you pay attention to the things that the person could be living there for 10 years and they never saw or never paid attention to, or they paid attention to but have let go of the issue because they thought it's unresolvable. And then comes this Rahu person. So imagine that house is your career. That is one of the places where it would touch on your legacy directly or indirectly. Now you want to think where your 10th house ruler is, because that's going to affect that as well. Okay? And um, and fascinatingly enough, I didn't see that showing up on YouTube as a video. Okay, perhaps astrologers keep that because for an astrologer to run into Rahu 10th house, somebody like accentuate on the Rahu, yes, it means oh, there's another astrologer in town, or yes, I have no idea, but I didn't see it, and I just fill in the blank. More things pertaining to that. Definitely exciting, definitely unnerving because the Rahu's never been there before. But not only that, it's not just that the Rahu hasn't been there before. First of all, for some of you, the house person haven't been there before. Okay, and it doesn't mean that they have a Rahu there. It's just like, hey, you got a promotion, you've never been to the place, and then you meet another person, you bump into each other. Okay, or in the cases that you are that you've been there, the Rahu person comes and bring in places in that house where you've never paid attention to. They bring in something that is both refreshing, but please remember, 10th house is also has to do with our upbringing. A lot of people don't mention that because there's like, oh, the 4th house is your upbringing, it's your house, it's your motherland. The 10th house is your relationships with your father, with the boss, with authority. And Rahu is kind of like putting no pun intended. But Rahu is kind of like putting the spotlight on that tent, or what it means to be in that position. You got a promotion. What it means to be the boss in that field. Okay, let's take right now. We have a 10th house Virgo. Okay, let's say you're an international author. Okay, something Virgoian, and now you have this Rahu person, and that might be, I don't know, their 2nd house. So they're buying all your books. And so, they're buying all your books, they're buying all of this, they're buying all of that, and they begin to read all your books and to invest the time, or maybe they even develop skill as a result of that, and then they begin to give you credit. And what they give you credit for is something that you weren't even thinking. Or that person begins to remind you of perhaps even how you related to your own father or to authority. Okay, the way that they act, the way that this Rahu person acts, reminds you of when you were either a toddler or when you were new to this business or to this job, or the way you treat authority. And they have this quality that is bringing all these issues. Now, depending on your relationship with authority, father figure, bosses, being a boss. Being a father for some people, that might be more or less challenging because the 10th house is all together, and Rahu is is kind of like all together on speed. It doesn't even give you time to rest. And all of the meanings of the 10th house compounded kind of dawn on you all at once. And this it is very exciting. It is completely transformative. Think about a situation where a person becomes a father and the child has Rahu in the father's 10th house. Okay, so think about it. Person becoming a father, challenging, exciting, scary, beautiful. Person becoming a father and the child has Rahu in their 10th house. Okay, think about that, compounded. And so for this reason, and the thing is, it's something that almost like your parents, you can barely get away from. Both of you might not be able to get away from each other because it's something very karmic. It's around that, okay? Um, and you want to think about, let's say, I don't know, the Rahu person. Let's say you are the Rahu person, and you say, "Oh God, I stumbled upon this place. Well, there's a boss to this place. I actually didn't mean to. I mean, I was just like looking for a house or starting my own business, and like, oh my God, I actually didn't mean to." And I'm like, "Oh my God, let's give that person some space." And then you say, "You know what? I'll go and I'll go and have a coffee." Yes, you sit there and have a coffee, and lo and behold, that's the place where the boss always goes to have their coffee. Now you're not intentionally there, okay? Or you say to yourself, let's say you're the Rahu person, talk about real estate, says the person, oh, the persons, they run a real estate. Okay, let's think about something else for a second. Let's leave the topic for a little bit and do something, completely different. I don't know, let's take a look at the economy. And that person was like, I was just about to like tend to that as well. And it can feel a little bit, wherever you have Rahu, the Rahu person and the house person can feel a little bit like Siamese twins. And this is wherever the Rahu is. Okay? But also for the Rahu person, it takes, particularly for the Rahu person, the 10th house person might identify because somebody comes at you and throws a projector at you, okay? Or somebody comes at you and they have a mirror that enlarges your facial features by 10, okay? And then you can't not see that this person just brought this giant mirror in, and you're like, oh my God, I have a pimple here, I have this, I have that, oh, I need to do it on my face, I need to this, I need to that. And whereas the person that came with that mirror is not necessarily aware that this is what they do. Pay attention. The Rahu person might not have Rahu in the 10th house. They have their Rahu, let's say Rahu in, yes, right now Pisces, okay? Let's say for them Pisces is actually the first house. And it was like, oh, I'm just becoming myself. And there's like, and the 10th house person is like, hey, whoa, you're not becoming yourself, you're becoming me. It's like, no, I'm just becoming me. And so that can create a situation, particularly for the Rahu person, where the 10th house might try to tenderly mirror something, to tenderly reflect, to show them something, or to address an issue. And the Rahu person has no idea what they're talking about, specifically if the Rahu is not at all in the 10th. Think about the person telling you, are you trying to take my job? It's like, you kidding me? I'm retired. I'm just looking for a house. And so, which can be even more unnerving because Rahu looks at the problem with fresh eyes. Well, if let's say you got a promotion, you've never been in that job before, but you've had time to think about the job. Okay, maybe you were planning for this. Maybe you were preparing your agenda. Okay, the Rahu person just stumbles upon things and they have to innovate. Sometimes their innovation is quite weird and unsuccessful. Okay, if I think about the 7th October, I tried to make. They taught in the TV how to make these bottles where you put alcohol in, and then you put some. And I turned my tincture into this bottle, and I was like, I was ready, and then I realized that if I try to throw it, it will explode on the gas balloons that. That would explode the entire house. So that was failed army. Fortunately, I didn't do it. Okay. Fortunately, I didn't do it. Um, so some of the things that the Rahu person does can be absolutely like that. But by the way, also the 10th house. Because they've never actually been in that place before if this is new to them. But some of these things can be quite maverick, quite successful. And the 10th house, like I've been learning this topic for years. What is this child doing here solving problems? And this is a part of the ego houses because it's our careers, it's our public reputation, it's us being a boss, and or being a father. And when a person becomes a father, sometimes they think, oh, well, somebody looks up to me, I have to be responsible, I have to be this, and at the same time, it's complete ego death. Because that little toddler there is paying attention to things and solving problems that in I don't know how many years the bosses or the authorities couldn't. And sometimes they do really stupid things, and sometimes they're like, oh my God, they actually do tend to that, and they're actually going somewhere. So altogether, it can give a little bit of a father type of father and child situations, or and the Rahu is going to be the less conscious one. Okay, so 10th house Gemini. um, and at the same time, it can give a very refreshing partnership. You think about a time where, let's say, you have a family business and the child begins to be a part of that family business, and they bring in their own maverick ideas. So now the business grows and expands. All in all, this is where both the Rahu person and the 10th house person are going to both feel like Siamese twins, father and child. The one that stumbled upon being a genius, but also the one that stumbled upon, doing that failed army that could literally knock the entire ship down. And upbringing issues with the father, with authorities, with being a boss, with career. They can spark and ignite any place that was stagnant. Okay, I think about the fact when I had kittens in the house, they go through every corner, and I love that, especially when I had the difficulty to clean. Then I was very tired and exhausted, and then those little kittens there going through every corner. That's that Rahu person. They sniff through every corner of the house and they change the energy. So the process is not pleasant, because even though the tent house is a public house, it is especially because the tent house is a public house. Okay? The Rahu person might not have any idea. Okay, they're just this kitten sniffing around the house. They have no idea what house it is. Or what is the impact of them walking around, sniffing around the house. And the fresh new eyes about things, because Rahu can also be naive about things. Okay, it's the child. The child here, what it knows, the first impression, or, oh, what is this place, the municipality? Oh, isn't that supposed to serve like the citizens? Yes. Oh, I am the citizens. Great, amazing. Yes, this is too complicated. This is this. This is that. But we can simplify that. We can simplify that. It was like, wait, you're trying to be the mayor? No, I just want to. I just want to have. Yes, I don't know, my documents or my ID or my this or my that. I'm just trying. I'm just moved into the city. and and the Rahu has no idea what have they stumbled upon. Um, but they're sparking everything to life in a way that is almost fated and forces the tent house to grow and expand. Whereas the tent house might be a little bit of a shock to that Rahu, because you think about I have Rahu in the fourth house, so it's the easiest to say that. Think about you're homeless, you're just looking for a place to spend the night. You see a building, you smuggle yourself into that building. You have no idea what that building is. That's, by the way, how I find my first editing job. Not by being homeless. I was just like, there was an editing room. I snuck into the editing room, and then I began to edit stuff, and then somebody came and says, what are you doing? I was like, I'm leaving. No, I'm looking for a TA. And that was my 4 years after high school, making money from basically being a teaching assistant to children, editing their high school finishing project. So you think about the Rahu person as they're just a homeless person, and they're looking for a place to stay. And they're looking for a place to stay, and so it may have happened to me in my Rahu return. I don't know. And they find the place, a warm spot. It's a little blankie, and they sleep there, and they don't care about anything in the world. Okay, then in the morning comes the boss. And they see this looks like familiar faces. Maybe they saw them on the news or something. And that person looks at that homeless person sleeping in their office. They say, what is that, a demonstration? It's like, no, where am I? And so, and that can be the encounter. If it sounds like a movie, it is because Rahu, wherever it goes, it's like a movie. It is that the fantastic reality incarnated. And for people wondering what happens next, well, that's a big question. First of all, let's say that person was in charge of the policy that person was homeless because of. Now they meet. Okay. So so that is, anywhere Rahu strikes is a fascinating encounter, fated encounter, usually around eclipses, perfection years, and so on. But the 10th house is one of those very, very powerful, and both of them transform. And the thing is that the Rahu person, okay, finds themselves in a completely new place, and they had no idea the megalithic importance of that place, and they still act like that kitten sniffing around the walls and just playing with whatever is in there, because they're so excited about this completely new uncharted territory, and they can absolutely reignite passion in that 10th house person. But don't expect that to be a usual encounter. Don't expect that to be traditional, and don't expect that to yes, to go along any familiar lines of something. For the people that have been bored with their job, this is a watch what you wish for combo.